You don't want to have a boring panel discussion, but frankly, your audiences don't have high expectations of your panel. My name is Kristen Arnold, and I am a master facilitator and a leading authority on moderating panel discussions. And your panel discussion does not have to be boring. Let's find out how. No one wants a boring panel, but they happen all the time. And here's why I think that happens. It's a rather lazy format. So the meeting organizer selects a topic, a panel moderator, some panelists, and then goes on to the next thing. Depending on the selection of the panel moderator, that panel can rely on some very traditional formats, and the panelists will rely on very traditional ways of responding. In this video, we are going to be talking about very specific ways that you can make your panels be the hit of the conference. Not ho-hum, but the hit of your conference. Let's dive right in. So how not to have a boring panel. If you ask the meeting organizer, what kind of panel? What do you want to see? Listen closely to the words. I doubt if they say, I want this panel to be the most boring thing on the planet and people are multitasking at the same time. They're going to say something like, I want it to be feisty. I want it to be controversial. I want it to be fun. I want it to be energetic. Pick your adjectives. Listen very carefully for the adjectives and for the outcomes that they're looking for. Another question that I like to ask is, at the end of the day, what do you hope people are saying about this panel? Those are key indicators. Those are your touch points about how you want to create an experience for the audience. So keep those in mind. Just talk to the panel organizer. There are a few specific questions that I like to ask the meeting organizer right up front. First one is, what do you hope to achieve? Second one is, what are the key takeaways that you want the audience to walk away with? What are the elements that you want to see in this panel discussion or not? Sometimes they want Q&A, and honestly, sometimes they don't want Q&A, which is interesting. Are you aiming to educate, inspire, spark debate, raise challenges? What is it that you're hoping to accomplish from this panel discussion? And finally, what do you hope to hear about that panel discussion, either in the surveys or as you're wandering down the hall, or maybe that famous bathroom conversation? What are they saying about the panel discussion? These are questions that I like to ask the panel organizer. As you're kind of refining your vision for this panel, there's a couple of factors that you might want to consider. One is, how formal or informal is it? If you're in an academic setting and it's a very formal professional conference, chances are it's a formal setting and they don't want it to be super casual and fun and energetic. And so you're going to make different choices as a panel moderator and as a panel organizer just in the setup of the room about how formal or informal it might be. What's the discourse in the room? Is it polite or is it confrontational? Is it okay to be confrontational? Because panelists, for the most part, will just be polite to each other and may or may not be very conversational. Is it supposed to be conversational? Is it supposed to be even controversial? It's helpful to know what the level of discourse is. Does it go from polite to conversational to even confrontational? What's the tone? Is it playful, energetic, or is it serious and somber, or maybe somewhere in between? So what's the purpose of the panel? Is it informational, educational? Is it inspirational? Is it persuasive? Or even is it challenging your core beliefs? How much control do you want to have over this? Now, this is an interesting one to ask with a panel organizer because the panel moderator really is the puppeteer. You manage all the levers of how the panelists engage, how the audience engages, and so you can have a lot of control and structure or not a lot of structure. I mean, one of my favorite formats is what I call a crowdsourced Q&A format, where you basically start it, you introduce the panelists, the topic, and then how you're going to collect questions, and usually it's on a meeting app, and you start with the question that has the highest votes, or You collect question cards and you just let the question cards drive the entire panel discussion. That is not a lot of control. Some people will go, oh, wait a minute, I need to moderate those questions. I need to filter through. Well, then that's a little bit more control. Or is it completely, and I've seen this in highly regulated environments, where it is very scripted. You decide the level of control that you're looking for. So another factor is the duration. Anywhere between, let's just say, 20 and 90 minutes. And frankly, 90 minutes is just a skosh too long, especially in this post-COVID era. I'd say 75 minutes is about the max I would go. I remember General Vernon, he was an ambassador to the United Nations, and he said, leave before they want you to go. I thought that was a great idea. So you want to end your panel while they still want the panelists to keep talking so that you continue that conversation, whether it's in the room, it's outside because they're trying to turn the room, or maybe it's an extended conversation that you're having post-panel. So think about how much time are you going to allot to this panel. That will affect your decisions about how you're going to structure it. What's the topical focus? Is it very general or is it highly focused? So for example, you might be talking about leadership. Okay, well that's pretty general. Are you talking about women in leadership? That's a little bit more focused. What about career paths for emerging leaders, emerging female leaders? Now you're getting even more focused. So how focused, how general, how specific do you want the topic to be? How much audience engagement do you want? Is it we just want them passive, or do we want them actively involved? And there's a range of things. In fact, I think we have a video on that too. So how actively involved do you want the audience members? The final factor to consider is this all an in-person panel? Is it all a virtual panel? Or is it a hybrid between the two, where there's some people who are live, there are some people who are virtual, either the audience, or you can even have a remote panelist come in. All these factors will factor into your decisions about how you want to structure and format this panel. So did you already pick up a tip just in that one piece about having that vision, and what are your factors that you should be considering? Because that affects how not to have a boring panel. If you got a tip, I'd love to hear what it is. Put it in the comments section, and while you're there, why don't you just hit that like button and subscribe to this channel? I thank you. Now, one of the key things that you can do how not to have a boring panel is to structure a panel so that it is not boring. And I'm gonna do a shameless plug for my book, 123 Ways to Add Pizzazz to a Panel. There's 123 ways that you can shake it up. Make sure that it is not a boring panel, that you've added pizzazz, that the audience is leaning in. But let me just leave you with this one big, massive tip, is throw out the old traditional formats and think about your panel in discrete segments, about every 6 to 10 minutes. What are the segments? Like your welcome in your introduction might be one 6-minute segment. You then are going to do some moderator curated questions. Maybe you might have 2 or 3 segments in there. And then you're going to have some audience Q&A, and then you're going to have some wrap up, takeaway. Think about those segments that you're doing something that shifts the energy in the room. Why is this important? Because we are trained that when we watch TV or we listen to the radio, there is a commercial about every 6 to 10 minutes. And so we have trained ourselves that there's an energy shift that goes on in our brains to keep us focused, bring us back on track. So if you're thinking about it in segments, think about infusing something that makes the audience go, ooh, I didn't know that before. Ooh, that's juicy. I didn't expect that. Oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome. Think about it in segments. One final tip on how to not have a boring panel discussion. Your panelists are trained to be boring. I hate to say it, but all the panels that they've seen have been ping pong matches. I, as the panel moderator, I'm gonna ask panelist A to answer a question. And then I'm gonna ask another question to panelist B, they'll answer the question, and then panelist C will answer the question that I give panelist C. And it might be the same question. I don't recommend that. That's called the hot potato. I just keep shifting it, the same question. That's called boring. You want to make sure that you craft your question specifically to that panelist, and then your panelists of their own free will jump in and go, oh, I'd like to add something to that, or I disagree with that. Respectfully disagree. That is what I call a conversation. You know, we are called a panel discussion, not a panel presentation. So to get people out of that kind of mindset is you want to have a conversational drumbeat that the first time in the invitation you emphasize this is a panel conversation. It's a panel discussion, not a panel presentation. In fact, Harry Overstreet, he's the first one that chronicled what a panel discussion is in 1932. He said the one unforgivable offense is to stand up and give a presentation. It's a discussion, something that they can't get anyplace else. So you have to encourage that and tell them repeatedly, like in the invitation, in your follow-up emails, when you get together on a pre-meeting, whether it's on Zoom or WebEx or wherever you are, or as you first see them when they come into the venue and they're checking in with you, right before as they're getting all mic'd up and just about ready to take their seats, you remind them, and I know you're gonna go, oh, Kristen, do I really have to? Yes, you do. If you want to have a conversation among very smart, intelligent panelists, you have to remind them this is a conversation. Just like at the dinner table, it's not rude or offensive to add on to people or to say, hey, that's a really interesting. Like they can lean in and the person who's talking would say, oh, do you have something to add? Like people know how to have a conversation. Unfortunately, it has not been modeled particularly well at most panels. So you as the panel moderator, in order to not have a boring panel discussion, reinforce this conversational drumbeat. Does it sound like I'm passionate about this one? So whether you're the panel organizer or the panel moderator or the panelist, we all have the responsibility to make sure that this panel is not a boring panel. But honestly, the bulk of the responsibility lies on the panel moderator's shoulders because you are exercising what actually happens in that panel discussion. So if you want more information about how to moderate a panel discussion, I've got a free video course, 7-part video course. Just go to www.howtomoderateapanel.com. Thanks for watching.